Hey guys, my name's Kieran Payne and I'm from Alternate Training in St Ives. We are a gym and we've teamed up with Heart Research Australia, which is a great non-profit organisation, and we're aiming to get people moving in February. So I'm actually making this video as a supplementary tool to the article regarding how to get into training. So we made an article, hopefully you've already read it. It's steps to get into training. We know it can be daunting to go from zero to your first workout or your first walk or your first step inside the gym. So this article is meant to help you kind of that bridging gap in between, okay? And this particular video is going to make sure that the exercises that you choose for your first few days, you're doing correctly. So in the article, it tells you to pick 3 exercises for your program and just try to build on that, okay? One exercise is going to be upper body, one exercise is going to be lower body, and the third exercise is going to be working on your core. Today, I'm just going to show you a couple of options for those 3 areas, okay? And then how to do them correctly and then how to progress. So the first exercise option for your upper body is going to be a good old-fashioned push-up. But keeping in mind, I want to start off very easy, and we're going to be doing this stuff at home. So no equipment needed. I want you to start doing them on the wall, okay? So up against the wall, hands about chest level, leaning into it, and then pushing back up. This isn't no optical trick. Okay, I am up against the wall, pretty much vertical, lean into it, step forward to make it easier, okay, step back to make it harder. So the way to progress through that is essentially just lowering your hand, lowering the incline, okay? So I want you to get creative. Find whatever you can to lower it. So once you get confident, you can do about 12 of those up against the wall. I've got a bench here, okay? It's about waist height, hip height. And I'm gonna use this, okay? This will make it a little bit harder to lean in, drive out. Lean in, drive out. Keeping your shoulder blades pinched, making sure you get a good stretch over your chest. So for legs, we want to keep it pretty simple and we're just going to do a squat. But to be honest, squats are very technical. They're probably one of the most technical movements you can do. So to make it simpler, what I want you to do is a sit to stand. I don't know why, it's a phenomenon. I've been in the industry for probably over 10, almost 15 years now. And whenever I ask someone to go sit down and stand up, they almost always perform a biomechanically perfect squat, okay? So I want you to find a bench, okay? I want you to start something that's above your knee height. And all I want you to do is sit down onto it completely, transfer your weight into your feet, squeeze your glutes and drive up. Once you can do about 12 of those, we're going to work to lower depths. So the exact same concept with the squats as we had with the push-ups. Once you can do about 12 of those at that height, above knees, we want to find something a little bit lower. It's going to make it more difficult, okay? So this chair here is just below my knee height, okay? Just below it. So I'm going to work on that. Control on the way down, sit down completely, transfer my weight into my feet, drive up. And then again, something lower. This is about shin height, okay? So quite low for me. There is a point where I don't want to go lower than that. So once I can find something that at the bottom when I'm sitting down, my hips are pretty much the same height as my knees, okay, that's a good level for me. Nice and slow, sit down, transfer to the feet, drive up. If I can do 12 of those pretty easily, like I said, I don't want to get lower. This is when I want to start to add some weight to it. Now obviously you're not going to have a dumbbell at home, but you can grab anything. Some milk, okay, some books, anything you can find around the house. It's just going to add a little bit of weight. I also want you to look at doing a single-legged exercise, okay? Single-legged exercises are good because they kind of highlight imbalances that we have from left to right. Again, with our body, we always want to kind of keep relatively balanced. So I want you to do a reverse lunge. Again, a reverse lunge by itself is quite a big jump for most people. So what I want you to do is hold on to something. So I've just got a door handle here, okay? That's going to take my weight, it's going to help me stabilize. And then I'm just going to do a reverse lunge. Keys to a reverse lunge, pro tip, 90% of my weight is going to stay in that front leg, okay? So I'm stepping down, back leg goes back, 90% of my weight's through here, and I push that foot into the ground as I come back up. I do a few on one side, about 6, okay? And I'm going to do 6 on the other side. Once I can do 12, I might want to go away from it and try to see if I can do the same thing, not supported. The last exercise option I want to give you for legs is going to be a glute bridge, okay? So you just need to find a spot on the ground. Again, no equipment needed. You can do this at home, okay? Both feet on the ground, okay? I want you to think about squeezing your core, okay? So kind of like pushing your lower back into the ground. Just pushing your heels into the ground, down into the ground, and then squeezing your glutes. Come back down, reset. Coming up, squeeze your glutes for about 3 to 5 seconds. Very importantly, you don't go too high with this exercise. I see that quite commonly sometimes. And what that can do is put a bit of pressure on your lower back. To progress the glute bridges, we're going to just go into single leg, okay? So again, lying on your back, one leg's going to be digging your heels into the ground, core's going to be engaged, one leg's going to be up, driving up, hold for 3 seconds, and then back down, okay? Again, you wouldn't be doing any of that until you can do, I would say about 12 to 15 of double-legged, again with a good 3 to 5 second squeeze at the top. Now you want to be finishing off with a bit of core, okay? Core is very important with everything we do in the gym. It connects the upper body to the lower body, it moves energy everywhere, it keeps your pelvis and your lower back and your spine very stable when you're doing all these different sorts of movements. So it's very important, okay? Especially if you have a history of back pain. I want to give you some different exercises. So I've got a bird dog, okay, a normal crunch, which I think can be useful, and then some leg lowers. So the bird dog, you're going to be on your hands and your knees, okay? You're going to have your core engaged, okay? Nice strong core. Pretend like someone's about to punch you in the stomach, so brace your core. Really strong in your arms, so push the ground away so that we're getting some activation through our triceps, our shoulders, our chest, okay? Always helpful as well. And then we're going to extend our right hand, left leg. Nice and controlled. Very important, you do think about the stabilizing limbs. So not the limbs that are moving, but actually the opposite. So my left shoulder and my right hip, that's what's squeezing, that is what is creating tension. Then you swap sides. Go to the other side, hold for a couple of seconds. Everything we do with core, it's really important we do nice and slow and controlled. The slower the better, okay? Second exercise is gonna be a normal crunch, okay? How I like to do normal crunches, completely lie on the ground, create a fist with your hands, start them on your thigh. Again, embrace your core, pretend someone's about to punch you, okay? And then you just slowly slide that up till you feel the squeeze, and then back down. A common mistake I see is jerky movements, trying to get all the way up. Isn't needed, okay? It's gonna be working different muscle groups. We wanna do everything nice and slow and controlled. So fists, bottom of your thighs, engage your core and just slowly slide up as far as they can go, doesn't have to go all the way up, and then back down. Last core exercise is going to be a leg lower, okay? Leg lower can be a bit tricky, so I'm going to show you the simplest version. Again, embrace your core, pretend someone's about to step on you or punch you in the stomach. Have both legs in the air with knees bent. Very important, your knees are bent the whole time. And then you're just going to push one heel towards the ground, slightly away from your body, come back to the start. Other one to the ground, come back to the start. Every now and then, if you need to have a stop, reset, because you're feeling any pain in your lower back, that's completely fine. To progress that, okay, you can go straight-legged, so a little bit harder, okay, because more weight is away from the working muscle. And then we can go back to bent knee, try the double-legged. Okay, that's very difficult, so if you can do that, well done. So there you have it, guys, a few options for you at home to get started on your first program. Make sure you're doing it safely, make sure you're confident with what you're doing, make sure you're not hurting yourself. If you haven't read that article yet, please go back and read that article. It steps out each individual step on how to start your first program, okay? So don't just jump straight into it, read all those things. I think it's really good what Heart Research Australia is doing. We just want to get people moving in February. I think it's a great initiative for everybody. Everyone can start moving if you're not already. And I can't stress enough, the most daunting thing is starting. I know it, I've done it before. I've got so many members that have been through it. But I want you to think about two things. I want you to think about best case scenario, what happens if you start moving, where you're going to be in 3 months, 6 months, and a year. And then what about the other side? What if you don't start moving right now? Where are you going to be? Okay, we don't want to deteriorate even further. We want to make sure we're happy and healthy and active with our movement. So promise you, hardest part is starting, and you just need to get into it, rip the Band-Aid off. I promise you won't regret it. See you guys.